Welcome back to day 2 of GSX. We're here with Stephen Brown, who is the VP of Strategy and Business Development for Prometheus. And this is one of the more unique applications and solutions that we're going to find here at the show. I mean, everybody's talking AI, but not many people are talking, talking about zero risks, zero trust, and especially when it comes to physical security systems in the physical security space. That's usually reserved for cyber. So kind of just walk us through, if you're like in the critical infrastructure sector and you're looking at rising threats and challenges with your cyber and physical security systems, why would I move to zero trust? What's it going to do for me, and how does it help mitigate risk?
I'm so glad you asked. You mentioned AI. I think that's as good of a case study as anything, really, right? So zero trust fundamentally shifts the way that I will say cybersecurity professionals, but more broadly security professionals, think about the cybersecurity that underpins all of the security apparatus that secure. We work in the critical infrastructure space, right? So it's a fundamental rethinking of security in that it's assuming penetration, right? So as opposed to trying to keep the walls high and thick and keep the bad guy out, there's still plenty of that.
Sure.
But it assumes that you've been penetrated. And so now that that's happened, now what? And how do you mitigate their ability to do anything further once they're in, right? So it doesn't lower the bar for the defenders keeping folks out, but it does recognize that its sophisticated actors may very well penetrate, and now you got to limit their ability to do anything once they're into your networks.
With that being said, when we're looking at the zero trust hypothesis, critical infrastructure, government agencies, that's a space that you're familiar with, you play in.
Yep.
But when you start trying to migrate that to enterprise organizations, corporate, commercial, things like that, number one, how do you proselytize that? How do you make them understand that? And how do you get them to understand what the value proposition and ROI is on it?
Yep. Great question. I think one of the key sort of central points to understand and take away is that zero trust wasn't a government idea.
Sure.
Right. So who's the father of zero trust? I'll let my friends Chase and John Kindervag debate that out.
Right.
But it's been around for a while, and it wasn't a government idea. It started with a recognition of the criticality of keeping bad actors out of your network, and then certainly limiting their movement. Why? What's the impact? Well, when I can get to an edge device because I've compromised your fish tank thermometer, and now I get through that edge device into your network, and I can now do a ransomware attack or whatever and hold your information. That is very much a commercial, very much an industry priority, right? And so billions of dollars every year are compromised because of these types of attacks. Attacks on operational technology that can be mitigated with a zero trust approach that current approach is simply just not doing, right? And so not only billions of real impact, and then the credibility impact of an organization, a Fortune 500 company, you name it, being compromised because of something so simple, right? And find your news story. I won't highlight any names, but pick a news story. There's plenty to go around. So it's real bottom line impact.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm saying too, but when you talk to these enterprise companies, these Fortune 500, these corporate entities, what are the questions that they're asking you? What don't they know? And what don't they understand about the applications?
Yeah, there's a lot of, right now I see a lot of standing back and observing to see what's going to happen on the government side. Government's using a more compliance focus, right? Push everybody,
right.
You need to make that transition. And so they're asking many of the same questions you're asking about the value, why would I do this? And I think what we're trying to help them see is the reality of the threat. It's very real. It more than likely in your business analysis is going to add up to where the impact of a compromise is not going to be tenable for an organization, right? And the need to pay a ransomware or something like that, a ransom for being a compromise situation is simply something they can't accept. So helping to educate has been a priority for us, and then work up towards adoption. And I think one of the keys to that is the ability to say, I can give you this technology at a price point that's competitive with what you're doing today, I can simplify your transition from your current sort of more analog approach, your legacy approach, to this more advanced approach, and not set you back, not make it a heavy lift, either from an operational impact perspective or a cost perspective. And I think those are moving the needle.
You know, when they come back at you and say, you know, Steve, all we're looking to do is make our access control and our video surveillance systems safer. You know, what is Zero Trust going to do for me in that regard?
Well, so fundamentally, the ability to, in an access control situation, right? So the ability to go out and provide Zero Trust out to a reader, let's say, right, or the system where that access control system where you're interacting, and prevent those from being compromised is something that we are offering now. And then on the video side, we've got some really interesting technology. We've talked to you before, right, about scene authentication, right, the ability to go beyond a camera into the scene and provide encrypted light receive transmit type of relationship that gives you continuous authentication and verification. Zero Trust beyond the lens is something that nobody else is doing.
Right, it's an incredible thing.
And the whole reason that we're doing it, we operate, again, critical infrastructure, right? But we're at the very tippy top, protecting some of the nation's most strategic assets. Correct. So it turns out that it's pretty important that you can trust what you're looking at. And so the innovators in our labs came up with that technology, and that is an innovative way of getting after a problem that, frankly, today, AI, imagery, news reporting just last night about some AI spoofing, the ability to interject that kind of technology that gives assurance and can then debunk claims, I think is something that we are seeing gaining traction.
Perfect answer. So people coming by your booth during the show here, what do you want them to come away? What's the message you want them to come away with?
First, what is Zero Trust, and have an opportunity to talk to them about that. You know, so we're a unified security platform, right? There's a lot of security platforms out there. We're a unified security platform. We provide intrusion detection, access control, video management, the cybersecurity that underpins all of it and makes it work. But the transition to what right looks like going forward, to take full advantage, for example, of AI, in order to do that, our argument would be, you want to adopt a Zero Trust model, you've got edge devices that are feeding an AI model that are giving real-time or forensic or trend analysis types of inputs. If you can't trust what you're getting in because you haven't protected those edges, how are you going to trust the data that you're analyzing, right? And so there's huge push towards AI, and we fully support that. That's fantastic. But garbage in, garbage out, right?
And at the end of the day, you need a human analysis to be able to interpret that data.
So, but the ability to trust what you're seeing, exactly, because the system doesn't trust anything that's not authenticated and validated, verified continuously, fundamentally, I think, alters what's in the realm of the possible for a lot of folks here that have some serious critical assets and infrastructure and people that they're protecting. So that's our takeaway.
Perfect answer. Hey, I appreciate you spending some time with us. Seriously, I recommend everybody come by the Prometheus booth. This is a unique solution. We're walking the floor. Everybody's touting an AI solution. Everybody's touting some sort of video monitoring with intelligent data. This is the only solution on the show floor that you're going to see that espouses Zero Trust and really hits at the heart of protecting physical security systems along with endpoint security system vulnerabilities. So I recommend that you come by. Steve, appreciate the time today, and we'll see you at the next roundup here, folks.